Oh boy, oh boy. Retro, are you here? Oh god, we got a double juicer day. Director's take, balance updates for Season 5. As Season 4 ends, I'd like to look at the game's balance. I actually don't think it's that bad. I think there's some small things that they've missed the mark on, like small fundamentals like Discord Orb, and tank balance. I think they've missed the mark on, but everything else isn't that bad. This season, we saw a wide selection of heroes get played, and for the most part, the game felt fairly balanced. I would argue Season 3 was more balanced than Season 4, but I digress. From a win rate perspective, Seasons 3 and 4 were some of the most balanced in Overwatch history, in recent Overwatch history. I'm not surprised. Season 3 was pretty good. Balance-wise, not content-wise, but... with this in mind, let's look at 3 different topics from Season 4 and talk about how it would change in Season 5 and beyond. By the way, I would definitely not brag about Season 4 having really balanced win rates, because technically a new character should shake that up, no matter what. The fact it didn't shows like how bad the new character is. I'm just that's just the quiet part being said out loud. Specifically, I'd like to go over heroes like Junker Queen and Lifeweaver one-shots and crowd control abilities in 5v5. Don't you fucking dare. I swear to God, if I read this and they want more CC, this game will literally tank itself. I don't even... There are a few standouts from a tuning perspective in Season 4. In the mid-season patch, Junker Queen was given a series of buffs, and she really started to dominate. I'm okay with that. So my hot take is I don't mind when one tank is really strong, as long as it's only for a couple weeks. As long as it's only for like 2 or 3 weeks, I think that's perfectly fine, because the way Overwatch has evolved in the tank matchup, it's basically this never-ending merry-go-round of counter-swapping, at least in ranked, for 99.9% of the population. That only doesn't apply in like top 50 plus, and then like, you know, team play like contenders, Overwatch League. That's why the Overwatch League players, if you ever see their takes, are like, no, it's not about counter swapping. Well, that's a very different game than most people who play in ranked, because it's so much easier to just counter their tank than to try to play with your team's different abilities and coordinate with. It's just way easier. Her win rate popped up by about 5%. And she went from being the lowest picked tanks to one of the highest. For most skill tiers, Queen and Reinhardt were the 2 most picked tanks for the latter half of the season. Yes, because Reinhardt's a staple. Reinhardt was bad this season. I don't know any Ryan player who thought Ryan was good this season. However, at Masters and above, Queen is far and away the most picked tank. Yeah, the metal ranks are always going to pick Reinhardt, no matter what. So to look at that and be like, yeah, we can tell if it's balanced based on Reinhardt pick rate and gold. Stop. One of the biggest changes that was made was the increase to the healing received from her passive. We like the addition to her playstyle, but it makes Queen too survivable. So we'll be reducing the health she receives from Commanding Shout from 200 to 150 to compensate. Okay, that's a pretty sizable nerf. We'll be also increasing the cost of her ult by a small amount, since she's been getting it faster rate than before the mid-season changes. Okay, good changes. I actually like those. Those are actually pretty good. Lifeweaver has been a really dynamic hero. Some of the plays that people have pulled off with him during Season 4 were pretty astonishing. Yeah, right. All 3 of the plays. However, he's not powerful enough to make a solid pick for most players. Previously, we stated that we would like there to be a reason to pick new heroes over others in the roster. This is our goal for new heroes. We want them to bring something new to the table. However, at the moment, we are looking for the best way to bring Lifeweaver to a baseline. Once people are playing him more, we will get a cleaner read on the character. Players will either start utilizing the varied parts of his kit, or we can look into adding something else to it. You can buff the numbers all you want. He's still clunky as shit. Until you can make it so he can more seamlessly do damage and heal at the same time and not be a reactive hero. Actually, I was talking to Emong about this the other day, and he said that Lifeweaver reminded him kind of like how Moira was in that one beta where they changed her necrotic orb to like the enfeeble orb, where you basically turned everyone's abilities off or turned off your damage for like 4 seconds. Remember that? And it made you do like 80% less damage. She was super reactive and annoying to play against and wasn't fun for the Moira player. That's kind of how Lifeweaver is. He's basically a reactive character, and reactive is way worse than proactive in Overwatch. In Season 5, there will be quite a few changes, mostly buffs coming to Lifeweaver. We'll have specific details in the patch notes, but players can expect increases to his healing and damage input, a heal on life grip, a slightly reduced hitbox, that's the big one, and some quality of life changes to pedal platform. Interesting. This is big spooky. Life grip healing and a reduced hitbox is kind of spooky, but again, he's still going to feel really clunky with just jacked up numbers. We'll continue to monitor both Junker Queen and Life Wave to make additional changes as necessary. Oh boy, the community has also voiced concerns over the number of one-shots from both Widowmaker and Hanzo. We'd like to reduce the frequency of these in-game, as well as shore up some of the extreme sightlines in some of our maps. Widow's damage falloff will change from 70 to 100 meters to 40 to 60 meters. Whoa! The damage falloff scaler will also increase from 30 to 50%. She will still have the ability to one-shot 200 heroes at 50 meters or less, but further than that, it will no longer be a killing blow. Hanzo will receive a slight nerf to his damage, so he's no longer able to one-shot 250 health heroes. His Sonic Arrow will also be more recognizable by the enemy team. The intent here is to reduce his kills that feel like they come out of nowhere. We are constantly discussing some of the natures of one-shots in Overwatch 2, and whether they are healthy for the game in general. Whoa, that is insane! Dude, does that kill Widow? Like, actually, I'm so curious. I'm so curious about this. So, not to be that guy, but does this also going to include Zen in the conversation? Because there's an argument to be made that Zen can one-shot you across the map with a good volley right-click. And let's be all honest with ourselves here for a second. Don't be a super reactive Andy. Don't be that support player who always jumps to supports and like, supports need more buffs. Shut up for a second and listen to me. You're telling me that a Zen right-click across the map that one-taps somebody is you aiming it? Stop. What it 99% of the time is you pick a spot, a sightline, a choke, a certain place where they peek, and you spam it. Very few times, and almost never, do you line up and move your aim and track somebody across the map and one-tap them. Doesn't happen. Most of the time, it's somebody's peeking a corner, you 5-orb the corner, they peek out and go, and they fall over, right? That's kind of a one-shot. In my opinion, that is kind of a one-shot. You're saying it's not a one-shot because it's 5 orbs. They travel so fast and the spam is so quick that it might as well be. That's like saying Roadhog's hook combo isn't a one-shot because you're hitting them with the hook, you're pulling them in, and then you're hitting them with a shotgun, so it's a bunch of pellets. Come on, brother. Be serious for a second. Lastly, I'd like to talk a bit about crowd control abilities in-game. Okay. When we launched Overwatch 2, we made some significant changes to our combat model. The biggest shift was from 6v6 to 5v5. A part of that change was to remove most of the crowd control abilities from our damage and support heroes. Overall, we think this is a positive change for the game. True. At times, the original game felt like you were in a pinball machine, but we have a lot of high mobility heroes in the roster, and a team can't always rely on their tank to take off them. So we are softening our approach here. We don't want to return to the state of the game that it was in previously, but we feel like there is room for more CC. Especially soft CC in our lineup. We'll be making changes to both Mei and Cassidy for Season 5 with that in mind. Mei's endothermic blaster will be updated. The primary fire will still slow targets, but it will also build up an effect that will apply a much larger slow for 1.5 seconds. Worked. For players of the original game, this will feel similar to the way her old weapon worked. Cassidy's magnetic grenade will also get updated to deal less damage, as well as applying an effect that slows and blocks movement abilities. Oh great. You're gonna get a fucking percentage slow when you get stuck and probably can't move. On top of these changes, we'll also be making some tweaks to several other heroes in Season 5. We can't wait for you to see them when the patch goes live. as well as other fun things we have coming into the game that season. As always, thanks for reading, and I'll see you in game. Wow, this is like I'm having such deja vu, dude. I'm actually watching them re-kill this shit in real time. This is crazy. No, like, no offense. Like, I like a lot of people over there, but like, genuinely, you guys have no clue how to balance tanks in this game. Like, genuinely zero clue. At all. Zero. Nada. And it's the same problem we had in Overwatch 1. Everyone thought tank was OP, so they giga-buffed supports. And that's how GOATS was created. GOATS wasn't created because of tanks. GOATS was created because of supports. GOATS is what was run by supports, not run by tanks. If you think otherwise, no offense, like, you're kind of an idiot. Like, the supports is what made GOATS work. And here we are in Overwatch 2. They've been kind of giga-buffing supports, little by little. And now we're adding back CC. Like, what was the point of 5v5? What was the point of Overwatch 2? Just give me back 6v6 at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want 6v6 back, but, like, hell, at least I can let the other guy get CC'd a little bit. At this point, I'm just kind of looking at it and going, like, what are you guys doing? But, like, my sense of caring is just going more and more out the window. I guess good luck.